Have you ever had that one neighbor who just won't mind their own business? Well, today's story is about a woman who takes nosy to a whole new level. She called the cops on me over and over again for things I didn't even do. But here's the twist. She ended up getting herself arrested. Yep, karma showed up wearing a badge. This story has everything: petty drama, surprise twists, and the ultimate satisfying ending. So grab a snack, get comfortable, and stick around, because you won't believe how this all goes down. And hey, if you like this kind of story, hit that subscribe button, because tomorrow's episode is one you really don't want to miss. I moved in on a Tuesday. It was quiet, just the way I liked it. Birds chirping, a breeze through the trees, and neighbors that mostly kept to themselves. The kind of place where nothing ever really happened, or so I thought. By Friday, she made her entrance. I had just finished unloading groceries when I noticed her standing at the edge of my driveway. Mid-50s, perfectly ironed blouse, lips pursed like she'd just swallowed vinegar. No smile, just a slow, judgmental scan of my truck, then back to me. "You can't park like that," she said, arms crossed, like she was delivering a court summons. I glanced at my vehicle. Perfectly within my property line. "It's fine," I replied. She didn't move. Well, not according to HOA standards. There was no HOA on my deed. I knew that. "Okay," I said, keeping my tone flat. I grabbed my last bag and walked inside. That should have been it. But over the next few days, I started noticing her more, watching from her window, pretending to check her mail every time someone came over, and every single time, phone in hand, camera pointed my way. One evening, I caught her taking pictures of my friend's car. I stepped out and asked, "Everything all right?" She didn't even blink, just documenting. "I have friends in the police department, just so." She turned and walked off. That was supposed to mean something. It did. It meant I'd just moved in next to a problem. It didn't take long for things to spiral. I'd step outside, and there she'd be behind her blinds, barely hidden, watching like a hawk with a vendetta. But one afternoon, I caught her with binoculars. Binoculars, just standing in her living room like she was on a stakeout for some high-level crime ring. Only her suspect was me taking out the trash. That same week, a note appeared on my front door. "Your grass is overgrown. Please respect community standards." My lawn had been mowed 2 days prior. Then came another, "Packages left on porches invite theft. Kindly collect them within 12 hours. It had been there for 4, but the final straw, at least for me, was the BBQ. A few friends, a little music, nothing excessive. We laughed, grilled, played cards on the back patio. At one point, I saw her standing at the sidewalk, pretending to walk her dog, phone out, and aimed right at us. No shame. Just filming, like she was building a case. That night, I was about to head to bed, when pounding erupted on my front door. I opened it to find her in a robe, hair wrapped in a towel, furious. "Your porch light is blinding," she snapped. My dog couldn't even go to the bathroom. I stared at her. "It's a 40-watt bulb." She stepped closer. "This is harassment." I didn't flinch. "You're trespassing. Leave." Her smile twisted. "We'll see what the cops have to say." And just like that, she vanished into the nightrobe, swaying, like she'd just won something. It was a slow Thursday afternoon. I was inside, working on my laptop, sipping coffee, when I noticed 2 police cruisers roll up to my curb. Both officers stepped out, hands resting on their belts, eyes scanning my house like it was a crime scene. I opened the door before they knocked. "Afternoon, sir," one of them said, firm but polite. "We received a call about suspicious activity at this address." My heart didn't race. I wasn't guilty of anything. Just confused. What kind of suspicious activity? The taller officer glanced at his notepad. Caller reported frequent unknown visitors, late-night gatherings, and possible narcotics distribution. I almost laughed. Almost. You're welcome to take a look around, I said, stepping aside. I've got nothing to hide. They walked through the house, checked the kitchen, glanced in the backyard, peeked into the garage. It didn't take long. No drugs, no stacks of cash, just a guy with a coffee mug and a mildly annoyed expression. When they came back to the front, the shorter one leaned in a bit. I'm gonna level with you. This isn't the first call we've had from that neighbor. Let me guess, I said, nodding toward her house. He sighed. We've had 3 calls from her in the last month. All false alarms. All targeting. Different neighbors. I raised an eyebrow. What do you usually do about that? He exchanged a look with his partner. We're starting to build a case. That got my attention. As they left, I watched her curtain twitch. She thought she'd sixth the law on me. But all she did was give them another reason to finally look her way. Asterisk. I'd had enough. The next morning, I filed a formal complaint with the local police and notified the HOA, even though I wasn't technically part of it. I figured if she wanted to weaponize the rules, I might as well learn the playbook too. The officer I spoke with took me seriously this time. Maybe because I wasn't the only one showing up with receipts. A neighbor 2 houses down stopped me later that day, looking nervous. You should see this, he said, pulling out his phone. It was doorbell cam footage clear as day. Karen, creeping up onto his porch at night, looking around like a raccoon before lifting a package, shaking it, then setting it down and leaving like nothing happened. A few minutes later, another clipper, walking up to my mailbox, phone in hand, snapping pictures of the mail like she was collecting intel. That's when things started clicking into place. I wasn't the first. I wasn't even the 5th. One by one, other neighbors started speaking up. A car key mysteriously scratched. A garden hose slashed. Always no witnesses. Always no proof. But now we had footage, timestamps, patterns. The cops didn't shrug it off this time. They came back with clipboards, took statements, requested video files. I could see the change in their tone, more clipped, more focused. One of the officers watched the footage twice, jaw tight. This is criminal trespass. Maybe more. Karen's curtain didn't move that day. No binoculars, no dog walks. It was the quietest she'd ever been. But I knew better. She wasn't gone. She was hiding. And this time, it wasn't me they were coming for. It happened on a Wednesday morning, just after sunrise. I was sipping my coffee, watching the street through the front window, like I always did now. 2 police cruisers rolled in, same officers, different energy. They weren't looking at my house this time. They walked right up to Karen's door, knocked hard. I saw the curtain move, quick like a startled animal. Then the door creaked open. Voices rose. Hers, sharp and shrill, cutting through the calm like a broken alarm. This is harassment. I know the mayor, she screamed, but the officers didn't flinch. One read from a clipboard while the other turned her around, hands behind her back. The click of the cuffs echoed down the block. Neighbors came out silently, like moths to a flame. Even the old man across the street, who never left his porch, stood up straighter. Karen, queen of complaints, was being led to a cruiser, ranting about legal representation and how this was all a misunderstanding. But nobody bought it. The evidence spoke louder than she ever could. The videos, the statements, the lies. Every false report and petty act stacked against her until the whole thing toppled down. The cruiser pulled away, taillights glowing red, as they disappeared around the bend. And just like that, the street went quiet again. No more notes on the door. No more fake rule citations or porch light complaints. Just birds in the trees and the breeze across my porch. Justice didn't come with fireworks or a victory banner. It came with patience, with letting the truth sit long enough to boil over. Karen tried to play the system like it was her personal game board. She just didn't expect the rules to apply to her too.